Welcome to Talking Black and Blue, where the rivalries run deep and every Sunday is a battle. I'm your man, Will McCann, and along with my partner, Tellis Everett, we're a couple of fans from the heart of the Midwest, bringing you real talk and weekly breakdowns from the NFC North, the Black and Blue division. So whether you rep green and gold, Honolulu Blue, purple and gold, or you rep the monsters of the Midway, you are in the right place. So lace up, strap in, and let's talk black and blue. Tell us, my man, what is up?
What's going on? Hey, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Thank you for supporting the Black and Blue podcast. Do us a favor, tell your friends all about how much fun we have over here. Just a quick reminder, Will and I are real estate agents in the state of Michigan. So if you or anyone you know is thinking about buying or selling in the next 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, or 3 years, reach out to us. We'll help you score a touchdown. Will McCann, what's going on? Oh, you're muted.
We'll have to kill the mute. Hey, tell my man, what is up? Hey, both you and I were 2-1 last week.
Okay.
Early games for week 8. Um, we both had the Lions. Uh, no, the Lions were on bye. We both had who did we both have? We both
Both
had
had the
Minnesota.
Ravens.
No, we both had Minnesota losing
Okay.
to the Chargers. And then you had the Ravens over the Bears. I picked the Bears in that game. And then I had Green Bay over Pittsburgh. You picked Pittsburgh in that game. So we were both 2-1 in week 8. That puts you at 15-10 on the season. And that puts me at 19-6, maintaining that 4-game lead heading into week 9. So tell me, what were some of your takeaways from the games last week?
Just a few takeaways. The Vikings' biggest problem might not be their quarterback situation. The Bears' defense minus takeaways is one of the worst in the league. The Packers are in the driving seat until they meet the Lions in week 13.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I hear you, man, with the Bears on defense, man. With getting Grady Jarrett back last week, I thought it would make a difference for him. It really didn't. They got handled by Baltimore in that game in their run game. And you're right, with no turnovers, man, that they're not getting short fields for their offense and they're not helping produce points. So yeah, they've definitely got some issues there. The Packers, um, coming up on a stretch of games here where they're playing the NFC East teams. Um, they have Carolina this week, and then they've got Philly and the Giants coming up after that, and Minnesota. So you're right; they could be rolling along. They could win another 3, 4 in a row, heading towards Detroit. Detroit's getting a division game this week with Minnesota, and I hear you. Minnesota's biggest issue is going to be their offensive line, man, and the health of their offensive line. Darisaw practiced this week, or he practiced today. We usually shoot on Wednesday. Today we are doing the show on Thursday, so we there's a day of practice. Darisaw practiced yesterday, and so did O'Neal, their right tackle. But he was limited in practice, which means he's not fully healthy.
Right,
He's a gamer; he'll give it a chance. But yeah, their issues is on their defensive line, man.
right.
So it'll be good for heading into the end of the season, the back end of the season. All 4 teams have had their bye now, so there'll be no more byes the rest of the way. All the teams will be playing every week. So yeah, I think this past week the Bears, their issue showed, right? Minnesota got trounced. And
Yeah.
and the Packers put together a game where they looked like they are, one of the best teams in the NFC.
Yeah, the Packers turned out to be my most impressed team of the week. They started off slow, but they overcame that slow start and some of the penalties during that first half. When they came out in the second half, specifically in the fourth, I mean, they were on fire. They scored 21 points. They had two defensive sacks and a turnover. So to me, that was very impressive to see them overcome those obstacles, overcome that slow start, and put it all together for that second half and just made Pittsburgh look like a totally different team. And the thing about Pittsburgh is that they kept getting to the red zone. They couldn't score any touchdowns. They were just relying on field goals. They had to know that that was that was going to be a disaster for them.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
again, my most impressive team this week from the NFC North is the Green Bay Packers.
I agree with you. They definitely played their best game of the season so far.
Yeah.
All right, well, turning the page on week 8, man, moving into week 9, let's talk about the status of each team and where we think they are. And let's, starting with those Green Bay Packers, you were just talking about that. So let's continue a bit on the Packers. I will say this about them. They are looking better. I thought that was a game where they felt like they needed to get better. Um, I think everything for them is starting to come together. My concern about them, um, with a young team, are they able to do it week after week after week? Are they able to bring the intensity necessary week after week after week? Because they're at home next week against Philly, and then they go to New York to play the Giants before they have a division game against Minnesota. Will they be able to grind out that part of their schedule?
Yeah, I hear you. It's really about consistency, right?
Mhm.
And that's been the issue that we've had with Green Bay so far this season
Yeah.
is that they look like the world beaters that first week, and
Hmm.
then they just came out flat for a couple weeks. And again, when you look at last week's game, they came out flat that first half.
Yeah.
So we, to your point, we need to see the consistency from them.
Hmm.
Jordan Love looked pretty good in that game,
Hmm.
and that defense looked like what we thought it would look like as far as bringing Micah in.
Hmm.
But there is some significant concern about how consistent they can be, right? And then the team it just doesn't seem like there is a solid personality to the team. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We talked about Matthew Golden being the number one, and as soon as as soon as what's Christian came back, what's his
Right.
name?
Christian Watson.
Yeah, as soon as Christian comes back, he looks like he's the number one.
Yeah.
And Matthew Golden, 3 catches for 4 yards. So
Yeah.
what is the identity of this team?
Mhm.
And to your point, it's a young team
Yeah.
and they have been playing inconsistent. So again, when we get to, these next 4 games and then we get to that Thanksgiving Day with the Lions,
Mhm.
it's going to tell us what's really going on with Green Bay. Are they a Super Bowl contender or
Mhm.
are they a fraud?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, though, man, I'm happy that you gave the Green Bay Packers some love because, you haven't graded on the curve with them at all, bro. You've been hard on the Packers, dude.
I I am hard on the Packers. I'm hard on Jordan Love because
One
when
of
you
the reasons
look
I
at
got that lead on you is because you've been too hard on them and have picked against them a couple of times.
this is true, but I will admit I am hard on Jordan Love. And the
Mhm.
reason I'm hard on him is because he is in that lineage of Green Bay Packer quarterbacks. You go from Brent Favre to Aaron Rodgers, and you sat 3 years behind Aaron Rodgers. So you had time to develop, right? And then this is your third year as a starter. There shouldn't be there shouldn't be a letdown, is what you know, all
Mhm.
the information that comes out about how good he was while he was backing up Aaron Rodgers and then going into that first season and then you give him a huge contract. So Green Bay is asking him to be a legendary quarterback,
Mhm.
but he's not. He
Right,
hasn't he
right.
hasn't gotten there yet.
Yeah, no,
And
no.
he and he shows some ability to be
Hmm.
legendary at times, but it's getting fewer and farther between.
Hmm.
And that's the consistency we're talking about.
Right. Yeah, to say, legendary, I think is a high bar for anybody to attain. And I think they can win without him being legendary, right? The question always for me is, can you win with the guy? Like to me, Jared Goff is not a legendary quarterback. But can you win with Jared Goff? Absolutely. And I think the same is true with Jordan Love.
Yeah, the difference is that Jared Goff isn't asked to be a legendary quarterback. There isn't a lineage of legendary quarterbacks coming out of Detroit.
That
You
is
don't have
true.
50 years of great quarterbacks in Detroit.
Yeah, like I said, while that is true, that's a high standard to hold anybody to expect that they're going to achieve greatness. Because, if everybody was great, if greatness was that easy to attain, everybody would do it. Everybody
Yeah,
would have a great quarterback.
but we're just talking about it in the example of Green Bay and what Green Bay's legacy is
And I
with the
get that.
last few quarterbacks they've had. That's
And
what
I
we're
get
talking
that.
about.
Right.
The expectation doesn't have to be legendary. The expectation is that Jordan Love, you're going to help us win
Yes.
NFC
Yes.
championships,
Yes.
multiple NFC championships, and at least one Super
Right.
Bowl,
I agree with that. I
right?
agree with that. Yeah, I agree with that.
Do you see that happening?
Uh, Today, I would say yes. I can see that happening. I can see. Do I see it happening this year? That I don't know. No, I would have to say no. I don't know if I've seen him play at that level yet this year, but I think he can play at that level. Yes.
Yeah. And they have time. It's not like they're going all in just
Right.
because they
Right.
got Micah. Micah's only like 26 or 27 years
Yeah.
old. So
Yeah.
they have time to get there over the next few years.
Yeah.
But to your point,
Hmm.
we need to see the consistency from them.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mentioned Jared Goff just a second ago. Let's talk about the Detroit Lions. Coming off a bye this week at home against the Minnesota Vikings, how do you feel about the Detroit Lions as they move into the back half of the season?
I think Detroit is feeling really good where they're at. I think for coming off the bye week, of course, there's been some talk about potential trades, kind of
Mhm.
shoring up maybe the offensive line and maybe doing something with the defensive backs or cornerbacks. But they should feel like they are one of the best teams in the league because it doesn't matter offensively. They can rush the ball, they can pass the ball. They play one of the toughest man-on-man defense, right? So with their corners and safeties and that type of thing. So
Mhm.
as long as they can stay healthy,
Mhm.
they're in control of their destiny.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, I agree. I think the bike definitely came at a good time for them. We talked about that last week. Um, they're able to get through a game without Brian Branch, who may be, after Hutch, their best defensive player, even though Jack Campbell has stepped up his game and been playing excellently this year. Brian Branch is a difference maker on defense.
Yes.
So getting him back playing better, I think, is good for Detroit. The middle of their O line has played a lot better. Um, they probably are just as good as they are, right? It probably isn't going to get any better. You don't lose one of the best centers in the NFL in the middle of your offense and not have that impact of run game. Even though the Lions are still running the ball 125 yards a game, I think they are um, offensively seventh in rushing. So they're still pretty good, just not as good. They're not top three that we, used to seeing them.
Right.
So they basically are who they are in the middle of their offensive line. I think teams are exploiting it because they can. Their interior linemen just aren't fast enough to get up to the next level and impact guys, especially Glasgow. I think the two young guys are fine, but I can see him slow and just getting beat. He's excellent with the communication. They're moving in the right direction, but he's just not quick enough to catch the linebackers getting into gaps or shooting gaps.
Yes.
So yeah, but I think they are fine as they get ready to move toward the back end of their season. And Jared Goff, speaking of him, is playing at an MVP level, right?
Hmm.
Not saying that he's gonna win, but he'll garner a few votes. He's playing well so far this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. For him to win the MVP, they have to really just go on a tear, right? And each game he'd have to be up around 300 yards, two touchdowns, no
Mhm.
interceptions. So he's a long shot for MVP.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
to me, yeah, the reason he's a long shot he carries his name, right? People still don't want to believe in him,
Right.
People still give credit to the fact that he's in this offense with all these weapons and he's got the run game. He's a lot like Jalen Hurts to me. You know, People don't give him the credit I think he's due for
Right.
being a quarterback, right? Other
Yeah.
guys would have to have down years in order
Yeah.
for Jared Goff to win, and that, just generally doesn't happen.
Yeah. And it's you never really hit with a number one draft pick at quarterback. I mean, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't.
Right,
But
right,
um, yeah, his legacy is that he's always played for a great offensive coordinator or so again, he's a long shot. He's got to put up some numbers and not turn the ball over
right.
to move up in that MVP competition.
Hmm.
But I want to ask you, what do you think the Lions make a trade? And if they make a trade, what do you think is the most important for them?
Um, you never have enough corners, right? So if you can find a corner at the right price, I think you go and get them. Um, I don't feel like they need a veteran. We talk about unless somebody is unloading, it's a salary dump. There's just a quality lineman that's available that somebody's getting rid of. Other than that, I don't think they're going to make any deals on the offensive line. If you find a corner, if you find a pass rusher, uh, you never have enough of those. So, but do I think they're gonna? I don't think they're actively looking to add to this team. No, I don't.
Okay.
Let's talk about the third place team, the monsters of the Midway, the Chicago Bears. How do you think they should feel as they head toward the back end of the season?
Well, just coming off of this game, they should feel some type of disappointment simply
Yeah,
because you you went into this, you had a four-game winning streak, you were doing really well, you were seeing some improvements. However, the thing that we didn't consider or I didn't consider is that the Ravens would actually take care of the ball,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And so the team at Chicago itself, you committed 11 penalties, um, some during crucial moments. There was
yeah,
sloppy play.
yeah.
Caleb is still holding the ball 3+ seconds,
Too long, too
too
long.
long. He's going through the precision, but he's not even, his feet are not even moving. He's just standing still,
Patting the ball,
patting the ball, and
yeah,
then maybe check it down or then try to run out. So I
running backwards.
running backwards, all those type of so. Again,
Everything you're not supposed to do, right?
yeah, the offense is inconsistent.
Hmm.
They couldn't maintain the momentum, and in the finish of those drives where they couldn't capitalize on some of the drives that they had because of the penalties and then the
Yeah.
sloppy play. And then we talked about it at the top of the show is that even though Chicago defense has performed well,
Hmm.
they perform well in the sense of just being able to take the ball away.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're at the bottom of the league for the number of yards they give up per play. I mean, it's over like 6 yards per
Yeah.
play that they're giving up. I think that's like Dallas and maybe Cincy or Cleveland that shares that.
Yeah, they're 21st in scoring defense and 25th in overall yardage defense.
Yeah,
Well, and like you said, what's saving them though is that they lead the league in plus 10 with a plus minus ratio.
absolutely.
And that's what's been saving them because they have been getting run on. They're 27th defending the run. You know,
Yeah,
so they're middle of the pack against the pass. That's because people are just running the ball on them. Okay.
right,
They have no
right,
need to throw the ball against you when
right.
they're running the ball so well. So yeah, they've got some issues on defense. Hopefully, Grady Jerry getting back. As we talked about that game last week, and we talked about up down, should have won more with looking at being on a 4 game winning streak. Is that a team that's going to win 5 in a row? I should have looked at that and went. No matter who the opponent is, that
Right.
team isn't going to win 5 games in a row, man.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they've got a tough game coming up this week also because they have to go on the road. But yeah, and then Caleb, man, he fundamentally the young man just has to get better because, like you're saying, him holding onto the ball so much, I give him credit for not turning the ball over, but he's just holding onto the ball. He's not throwing the ball. It reminds me of the Bruce Arians phrase, no risk it, no biscuit. You
Hmm,
know,
hmm.
you can't gain any yards if you're back there holding the ball. You gotta let it go sometimes, man. Just cut it
Right,
loose. You may throw a pick because the defense is gonna get you if you put it in the air, right? Those
right.
guys are just too good. Occasionally they're gonna get you. You gotta make good decisions. You gotta be quick with them, and you gotta let the ball go, man. Throw some 3 yard checkdowns. That's
Yeah.
better than you back there patting the ball and taking a sack.
But his processing is still too slow. So
Slow.
even when he throws the check down, he's already held the ball for 3 seconds, right? So when you
Yeah.
look at we're just talking about Jared Goff. You look at Jared Goff, it's like boom, 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 boom.
And he
With
throws some
Caleb,
spots. He don't throw to receivers. He
right?
throws to spots.
Exactly, exactly.
And
You
Caleb
look at
isn't. He wants to throw the ball to an open receiver
right,
instead of throwing the ball to a spot, anticipating the receiver getting there or leading the receiver there.
right, right. So yeah, by the time he gets to his check down, he's already held the ball for 3 seconds. And you were saying just get the ball out of there. That's that's more important than holding on to the ball and trying to find that one receiver that is open, right? Just get
Yeah,
rid of the ball
yeah,
because you take a sack, it's not a turnover,
yeah.
but you are setting yourself
Exactly.
back, right?
Exactly.
You're
Exactly.
setting yourself back
Yeah,
like 10, 15 yards.
yeah,
The opponent's getting an advantage of 10 to
yeah.
15 yards when you go to punt this
You're
ball.
losing the field position battle. Yeah.
Right, right, right. So yeah, when you pull back the curtain on what the defense has been doing, and
Mhm.
you start to realize that, oh, this team is not as good as what they look.
Right. Yes.
And
Absolutely.
as much as as much as Caleb and the offense and the rushing and all that kind of stuff, and they were putting up points,
Hmm.
they're not as good as what they look. They're not as good as their record.
I agree. Right
Yeah,
now they're 4-3. They're relative 500, I call it. That's about the top end for them. If they
yeah,
finish the season with 9 wins, that would be about. If they went 5-5 the rest of the way, that would be top end where I
Right,
think they could achieve.
right, right.
And if they didn't do that well, I wouldn't be surprised.
Absolutely.
Right, cool. All right, let's turn the page to the Minnesota Vikings. How do you think the Vikings should feel coming into this
Woo.
part of the back end of the season? I saw the look on your face.
The Vikings really, I just don't see how they can have feel good about the rest of the season going
Mhm.
forward, right? And the reason I say that is because you got to play JJ now.
Yeah,
You you have to. And whatever you get from JJ is not what you had last year. You see what I'm saying?
right, right.
Right, right. And then that defense, we got to question this defense.
Mhm.
The last two games, they've given up over 30 points in
Yeah.
each game. So, yeah, and the first and we're talking about the Eagles game where the
Mhm.
Eagles got right and
Right,
the
right.
receiver most of the receivers are happy. There's still
Yeah,
one that's not happy.
most of them are.
Most of them are. And then you go out to to LA and you let Justin Herbert do his thing. So,
You let Justin Herbert get right, and they hadn't been
yeah,
playing well.
exactly. So, as much as we talk about the struggles on the offensive end and that quarterback and everyone's injured and you got to play JJ, the defense is not holding up their side of the
Yeah.
bargain as well. So, I don't know how they should feel.
Mhm.
They can't be excited about the prospect of just ending the season and just seeing what they have in JJ.
Yeah, I think they definitely um, have some concerns going down the stretch. I think Kevin O'Connell is aging this season, right? Um, fundamentally, always get back to the fundamentals of football, blocking and tackling, and the struggles they have with their O line, man. They just can't get the run game blocked up. Struggles protecting the quarterback. Like you said, Wentz is out for the season. They're going back to JJ. Uh, they, I'm not sure, if they're even ready for Max Brosner to play. I
No,
definitely don't think they wanted him to play. They went and signed John Wolford,
yeah,
who Sean McVay tried to replace Jared Goff with, right? In
yeah. I
fact,
mean,
he started John Wolford in a playoff game over Jared Goff.
you're
So,
absolutely right about them not wanting to play Max Brosmer because Carson Wentz was hurt in that game and he finished the game.
and they still put him back in.
They still put him back in. Clearly, they don't want Max
They
Brosmer
didn't want the rookie to go out
to
there.
go out there and play.
And I think that is, that with the way we've talked about how Kevin O'Connell has managed quarterbacks in the past, the fact he didn't want to put the young man in lets you know he had no confidence in his offensive line. At
Right.
least if I've got a veteran out there, he can protect himself, right?
Yes.
He's smart enough to protect himself. I can't put a young guy out there because he ain't going to protect himself. We're going to get him hurt, right? So yeah, I agree with you. So they've got some concerns on offense. Like I said, Darisaw seems like he will be back at full strength this week. O'Neal won't be at full strength. Their guards weren't listed on the injury report, which leads you to believe that, health wise,
Yeah.
they should be good, but they haven't performed well when they have been healthy. So,
Right. Right.
and I think that's because they haven't had any cohesion because, they've had guys in and out of the lineup. So hopefully over the bye, they've been able to get some practice reps together where they can have a serviceable offensive line that can go out and battle and compete.
Yeah. And that's their big concern is that offensive line
Yeah,
itself, right? Because
yeah,
they can't protect the quarterback and
right.
they can't rush the ball.
They've got a couple of dudes hurt.
Yeah. In the one game Darisaw was back, they were rushing the ball.
They were able to run the football at least
Yeah,
to protect the quarterback.
exactly. So they have issues on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah.
And then at some point, I need to figure out what Brian Flores is doing because,
Well, I
I
think
mean,
you'll see some differences because they'll get Van Ginkel back on defense this week.
okay,
So I think you'll see a little more heat. He's definitely going to be bringing Van Ginkel off the edge. He is their fastest D lineman. Um, Grenier and the young man Dallas, his name eludes me, but their other two defensive ends. They are good, but Van Ginkel is better than both of them, right? So I think that will help their defense. Their run defense has surprisingly been poor, right? They
yeah,
definitely got to get better there. Their D tackles definitely haven't played well, and I think, like I said, Brian Flores is aging this year also, right?
right.
It's like, yeah, we brought a couple of guys in to play D tackle, and they just haven't played well.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll get into it, but they do play the Lions and yeah, that should just be a track meet.
That yeah, that'll be interesting. Yeah. And just getting to that, we're just about to turn the page to the games this week. Let's go ahead and start with that one. This is a division game this week. So we only have three games this week because we have one division game. So going down the stretch here, there's still 10 division games left to play. I'm sorry, 8 division games left to play, and this is one of them. So it'll be the Minnesota Vikings at the Detroit Lions. And how do you see this game going, Cal?
So Detroit Lions are favored by 8.5. The over-under is 47.5. I have the game Vikings 9, Lions 30. The
Mm-hmm.
way I see it playing out, I see the Lions just pounding the rock. They're just gonna rush the ball. They'll throw when they need to as a necessity, but I see them just running the ball. They want to remain healthy. One of the best things they can do for their defense is for the offense to control the time of possession. So I see them just running the ball, just being a very efficient offensive team to
Mm-hmm.
protect their defense and keep the defense healthy. That's how I see it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Offensively for Detroit, I expect them to run the football. I expect that their time off from the bye or with the bye, they've had a chance to rest up, and they're going to want to come out and be physical. They're going to want to right away try to set the tone physically at home, and I think they're going to come out and want to run the football. And then the same defensively. I think they're going to want to shut down the run. I think all of their big people up front are going to be hitting the line of scrimmage hard. I expect them to get out to a lead and then play Detroit Lions football. I do see, it's hard for me to see a game where uh, the Minnesota Vikings with Jefferson and Mason can't get 20 points. So I see it Detroit 31, Minnesota 20.
Yeah, yeah. I see where you're going. The only issue I have is that if Detroit's up big, then Minnesota's got to rely on the pass. So we just talked about their offensive line
And
not
I get
not
where you're
being
coming
fully
from,
ready,
right? Yeah, yeah.
right,
All of that makes sense, right? They've
right,
got
and
struggles on
then
the O line. They're
yeah,
bringing in a rookie quarterback who
yep,
hasn't played in X number of weeks. You
right.
haven't been able to run the football, so yeah, I can absolutely see it happening.
I see a Michigan Wolverine on Michigan Wolverine Prime.
There will be some of that. There will definitely be some of that.
Plus, there's been some talk that some fans are not happy with the contract, but he's gonna go out there and remind you why he's got the 84 million.
They're not happy with the contract.
Yeah, some of the fans are not happy with Hutchinson's contract
Uh,
extension.
Lord have mercy. Get your hand out of other people's pockets, okay? Keep your
But
hand
yeah,
in your own pocket.
but back to the game. Defensively for Detroit, you got to blitz JJ. Just blitz him. And then have you're gonna play that one-on-one coverage with Justin Jefferson, but you gotta have people spying too, right? Going to the areas that he's gonna go to. So we'll yeah, I feel you. I hear what you're saying about there should be some points, but I think they're gonna have a problem when they get to the red zone. The Vikings are gonna have a problem when they get to the red zone.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Okay, let's go to the next game, and that is the Chicago Bears at the Cincinnati Bengals.
All right, so yeah, I should probably do a better job of checking these numbers because I check early in the week and I don't before we go on. But Chicago's favorite at 2.5. The over under is 52 and a half. I have the score Bears 20, Bengals 34.
Oh, okay. You think they're about to get a steady diet of Joe Flacco, huh?
If he plays, I heard he's a little injured,
Is
right?
he? Is
I
he?
heard he was injured, so they
I
might
hadn't
go back
heard.
to
I hadn't
Browning,
heard.
right?
Okay.
But still, Jamar
They
Chase,
still have Chase, T.
T.
Higgins,
Higgins,
and what's the other kid's name?
the
Yoshua
Bears
Voss,
top,
Andre
yeah,
Yoshua
Chase Higgins, and I'll say Flacco if he's there, but if he's not, I still think Chase Higgins. But the Bears' top three cornerbacks are all hurt or missing in that
Yes,
previous game.
yes,
So
yes,
their defensive backfield is depleted.
yeah.
They
They
can't match
definitely
up
have
with
some
Chase and
concerns.
Higgins.
Yeah, they definitely have some concerns. All right, and then moving to the last game, the first place team in the division, the Green Bay Packers at home against the Carolina Panthers.
All right, Green Bay's favored by 12 and a half. The over-under is 44 and a half. I got Panthers 10, Green Bay 28.
All right, at least you gave them double digits, man.
My primary concern for the Packers, and this should be their concern, if you're a Packers fan, your primary concern should be that they have a potential to let down when they're playing subpar opponents, and they make the game a lot tougher than what it needs to be. That's my only concern with the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, I hear you. Young teams tend to play to the level of the competition.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely hear you, and that's where some of that comes from. You know.
Wait a minute. Did you give your matchup for the Bears and Bengals?
No, you're right. You know what? I didn't. I didn't. I didn't. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Hey,
Yeah,
keep you
I've
honest.
got. I've got Cincinnati 27, Chicago 23. Right.
Okay,
I
okay,
think I agreed with everything that you said, so I had no need to say what I was going to say. Right. But yeah, the score I just had the score a bit closer. I had
okay. All right.
Cincinnati 27, Chicago 23.
All right, all right. So yeah, back to the Panthers,
So
Packers.
yeah,
Yeah, I'm at Panthers 10, Green Bay 28. And like I said, my only concern is that the Packers have a letdown because they're playing a team, yeah, as an NFL team,
yeah, yes, yes.
as Will McCann like to say, and there are professionals on that other team. However, it's the Packers' responsibility to go out there and put in the work and make sure that they don't have a letdown.
Right, right, right. Yeah, you know, I again, I agree with everything you said about the game, right? And I think I've got a similar score. I had Green Bay 31, Carolina 17.
Okay.
So you've got an 18-point game. I've got a 16-point game. Both see it the same way. I see Green. This is a game Green Bay should go out and control at
Right.
home. Like you
Yeah.
said, they have a tendency as a young team to play to the level of competition.
Yeah.
And that would be the concern. That's where you see the growth and development of them as a team. Uh, them being able to go out and handle business at home and not have
Right.
this team. And you, like I said, they got dudes too, right? These dudes
Right.
are
Right.
prideful and they're bringing it,
Right.
right? So yeah, for all the same reasons you said again, I see the game the same way.
And I would be more concerned if this game was on the road for Green Bay
Yes,
because they have shown some inconsistency on the
because
road.
again, a
But
young team going on the road
young
against
team
a
going on
team
the
they
road.
should beat,
But
right?
this game is at home, so they
Yes,
should take care of business, and there shouldn't be no one should be concerned. They
yes,
should take
yes,
care of business.
yes. I agree with you. I agree with you. And so we've agreed a lot today, right?
Yes, yes.
All right, man. Well, as we wrap up this episode, man, and put a bow tie on it, do you have anything you want to close us out with?
Just gonna close it out with, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Will and I love talking football, but when we're not breaking down the NFC North, we're helping people buy, sell, or invest in real estate. If you have questions about your next move, don't fumble the ball. Contact us for our winning game plan in real estate. Fellas, share the pod with your buddies, and ladies, share it with your crew. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Don't be a knucklehead. Drop us that 5-star rating.
All right, my man. Like Tellis said, we're a couple of realtors, man. If you're a realtor out there and you're looking for a brokerage, man, we can come talk to you about the great brokerage where we work. And shout out to my man Adam Oberski who listens to the show, always positive to us or with us about the show. So shout out to my man AO. And with that, we will see you guys next time.
Yes, sir.